to Deconstructed. I'm the Maven, and I'm glad that you've joined me today. We've got lots of news and entertainment and lots of fun. So let's start off with the weather. We've got a wet and muggy weekend in Phnom Penh with lots of rain and temperatures of 34 degrees Celsius. And if you are Celsius challenged, well, you might prefer me to say 93 degrees Fahrenheit. So it doesn't sound like it's too bad, but with all the rain, it's going to be muggy and humid. The week ahead stays pretty much the same with a chance for a break on Wednesday. Okay. Wacky holidays and international holidays as well. On Saturday the 2nd, we've got International Turkey Vulture Day. Who cares about turkey vultures? They're ugly, right? No, they're cool, and they're so important for the food chain, because when an animal dies, they're able to pick off the rest of everything that's called carrion, that dead animal, and so they help process all that. So they're really important, and so respect the turkey vulture. International Beard Day. So I guess if you're a guy, maybe you could try and grow one. You know, maybe you could just put a fake one on or something, or use Snapchat. Isn't it Snapchat where you can like add things, add a beard, you know? International Beard Day. Maybe kiss someone who has a beard. I don't know. And it's also Independence Day in Vietnam. So the third Sunday is Pet Rock Day. That's kind of cool. I remember in the 1970s when pet rocks were all the craze, and they were like promoted as this pet that you can have that you don't have to feed, you don't have to water, you don't have to take it to a kennel when you go on vacation. They're very easy to take care of, and they're always there for you. So if you've never had a pet rock, maybe you'd like to find one. It's also Welsh Rarebit Day. Now, my mother-in-law used to call them Welsh rabbits, just for fun. But a Welsh rarebit is like this really cool thing to eat. It's basically just cheese on toast, but you can have like onions and garlic and mixed up with the cheese and everything, and it's like usually an open melt. So you've got your bread and then your cheese, and then you toast it with melting the cheese all over the top. So good. I did go to Wales, and I insisted on having a Welsh rarebit in Wales while I was there, so I can have the traditional one. Father's Day in New Zealand. So happy Father's Day to all of you watching in New Zealand. Okay, on the 4th Tuesday, it's World Samosa Day. Now, if you don't know what a samosa is, it's kind of a fried bread that's filled. It's pretty much like Indian food is most famous for samosas, but it's all over in other countries as well. And in fact, I'm amazed that so many countries have a similar breaded pocket of food. Like you have empanadas in South America, you have pierogies in Europe, you have quesadillas. That doesn't really count in Mexico, but those are good too. All right, Wednesday the 5th is Read a Book Day. So find a book. There's so many books. You can read a classic, you can read something new. If you're not a really big reader, why not pick up a child's book and practice reading with a child's book? Maybe read it to a child, Yeah, lots of good ways to celebrate Read a Book Day on Wednesday. It's also the Spirit Festival in China. On Thursday the 6th, it is Superhuman Day. This is a really cool holiday. It was started to celebrate the Paralympics, and so it recognizes people with disabilities that have overcome their disabilities. So what a great holiday. On Friday the 7th, it is Independence Day in Brazil, and Star Trek Day. So all you Trekkies out there, get ready to celebrate on Friday the 7th. Alrighty, so now we'll get into our news. But before we do, let me remind you that if you like the show, please actually like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope. And then that way you can stay updated on the latest. And so it's at the Maven 2017 across all social media, at the Maven 2017. Okay, so our news headlines for today, for this week. This is the week headlines. A second typhoon had battered Hong Kong and the Chinese coast, while Hurricane Harvey dropped rain on Texas and stalled over Houston for days before moving on to dump rain in Louisiana. Lots of rescues and everything and tragedy going on there, and also heroism. Okay, meanwhile, monsoon season has been deadly in South Asia, with more than 1,200 people dead along the coast of the Indian Ocean. So a lot of weather happening this week. North Korea kicked off the week with some missile tests, and then they pushed further by launching a missile over Japan, and then the U.S. responded by flying U.S. aircraft over the Korean peninsula. So things may be heating up in North Korea. The UN has contradicted the U.S. by declaring that Iran has complied with the nuclear deal. So that coming out of the UN. Moving over to Germany, Frankfurt evacuated 70,000 people after finding a World War II bomb that is called the British Blockbuster. So it's a really big bomb. They need to disarm it, and so they're evacuating people just to make sure nothing happens during that process. While progress was made toward peace at the Indian and Chinese border, then just the last few days, China has actually increased their border patrol. So we're not sure if they're actually heating up things or if they're calming down. Could go either way. The U.S. Abruptly ordered Russia to shutter its San Francisco consulate and offices in Washington and New York. You know, now remember, earlier in the month, Russia was kicking out Americans out of Russia, and so now Washington, they only gave Moscow 48 hours to comply. So don't know what's going on between the U.S. and Russia. 2 dead in Mexico City. This is really tragic. Apparently robberies on public buses are very common, and what happened was you had this one gang enter from the rear of the bus to rob the people, but when they did, they saw that there was already a bandit from that had entered the front of the bus, maybe on an earlier stop, that was already robbing people. So the 2 bandits, the 2 thieves, got into a shootout, and but luckily none of the passengers got hurt. One of the passenger, the thief that was in the front of the bus actually got shot and killed on the bus, and then the thief that was at the rear of the bus got shot but died later in the hospital. Alrighty, the Oval, this is a cricket stadium in London, had a very, very exciting event happen this week. An arrow was fired onto the Oval, into the stadium during a cricket match. So it forced the game to end and everybody to leave the field. And so the game was abandoned. They don't know who did it. They think it was maybe, not terrorism related, but just somebody that was shooting an arrow into the air and didn't realize how far it would go and where it would come down. But they don't know exactly. In Thailand, the customs officials confiscated 136 live pangolins. This is the world's most poached animal. And there were 450 kilograms of pangolin scales, also worth $75,000, and they entered the country through Malaysia. More than 2.3 million pilgrims, most of them from outside Saudi Arabia, have arrived there for the 5-day ritual commonly called the Hajj, with temperatures approaching 40 degrees Celsius. Oh, that's 104 Fahrenheit. Yep. Cristiano Ronaldo, this is in sports, he scored 78 wins to break the long-standing record held by the world football legend Pele. So Pele's from the 1970s. Boy, he held that record, and Ronaldo just broke it. Friends and fans of Diana, the Princess of Wales, mourned the 20th anniversary of her death on Thursday. Elton John came out and said, "The world lost an angel." She was killed in a tragic car crash, and just 36 years old at the time. And that happened in Paris, but it triggered an unprecedented outpouring of grief across Britain. In fact, at the time, people were thinking about getting rid of the monarchy. Like, what do we need them for? And when that happened, it actually kind of revived an interest in the royal family. Anyway, time for our commentary. So we're going to talk about the Rohingya in Myanmar. So while the Bangladesh Coast Guard found the bodies of 17 Rohingya, many of them children who drowned when their boats capsized as they fled violence in Myanmar, several hundred Buddhist nationalists, including monks, rallied in Yangon to urge stronger action against the insurgents, as they called them, from the Muslim Rohingya minority for attacks on police this week. At least 18,000 Rohingya have fled the violence and crossed into Bangladesh in less than 1 week. So Bangladesh is getting overwhelmed with the refugees. Most of Myanmar's estimated 1 million Rohingya live in the northern Rakhine state, and they face severe persecution in the Buddhist majority country, which refuses to recognize them as a legitimate native ethnic minority, leaving them without citizenship and basic rights. Excuse me a moment. Alrighty. So we're going to go back to 2012. Tensions at that time erupted into riots between the Rohingya and the Rakhine Buddhists, and hundreds of Muslims were slaughtered, and some Rohingya started to flee the country while others began to fight back. All right, and so that's been kind of, the tensions have been rising since that point in 2012. Well, who are the Rohingya? They claim to be natives of the Rakhine state, there are mentions of them going back until the 15th century. However, the government of Myanmar claims that they either came to the area after the British War in 1826 to become farm labor, or that they migrated from Bangladesh either after Burma gained independence in 1948 or after the Bangladesh Independence War in 1971. So Myanmar's political leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, has refused to acknowledge the massacres, even though she spent years under house arrest herself, claiming human rights abuses by the military regime that was running the country at the time. Now that she's in control, she's not like the president, but she's the political leader, she doesn't seem to care about anybody else. The Buddhist majority refuses to use the term Rohingya and calls the people Bengali. Okay. Earlier this week, Britain has called for an emergency UN Security Council meeting to discuss the situation. More than 100,000 refugees have entered Bangladesh since October of last year. So what is the answer to this situation? I don't know, but I just want to remind you to research the facts and deconstruct the story so that you can form your own opinion about the subject. Alrighty, well, it is time for our coffee break, and so I will leave you for a moment and be right back. Well, welcome back, and now it's time for wacky news. That's right, so the Cincinnati Zoo says its popular hippo will star in an internet video series called The Fiona Show. And it debuted on Tuesday. So if you remember, there was a zoo that had a giraffe, a pregnant giraffe in the live cam, and that was like viral for months and months and months until she finally had the baby. Well, now the Cincinnati Zoo is going to try and get some publicity as well. So we'll have to see, because it just launched, so we'll have to see if it actually goes viral. Police say that a boy found a gun in a dressing room in an Atlanta mall. So you would think, you know, you go to the mall, you go shopping, maybe you're getting back to school clothes, and you pretty much expect everything to be safe. And maybe you're just hanging out with your friends or whatever. Well, this boy was with his mother, and his mother didn't know whether or not it was a real gun. So what does she do? She fires the gun to see if it was real. I mean, that's just like, come on, people. Like, what? Okay. I mean, first of all, what if that gun was used in a crime and you're messing up the fingerprints? You know, I mean, you don't touch it. You go, if you see a gun and you don't know if it's real, don't touch it. Go get some kind of authorities to deal with the situation. Anyway, a Pittsburgh woman gave birth to her premature son in the back of the car as they were on the way to the hospital, and the picture is kind of like going viral right now because she took a picture of the baby, because when it was born it was actually completely inside the amniotic sac. Now I'm not going to show you that picture. Here's a picture of the baby now in the hospital. So the baby's fine, but what an amazing scientific picture to see a baby inside an amniotic sac completely. That's just like, it's weird actually, but anyway, you can go look for that online if you want to see it. 2 men were arrested after police say they robbed a bar. Okay, they rob a bar and they get arrested. What's the big deal about that? Why is it wacky? Well, because the bar that they chose to go in and try and rob was actually having a retirement party for a police officer, so that it was packed with law enforcement. So they didn't make it very far. Epic fail for the thieves. This was in Baltimore. Okay, and then Japan just had the biggest funeral expo this week. And if you know, like a lot of restaurant and hotel expos, they'll have these contests, right? So a barista who can make the best latte, and cocktails, who can make, you know, the best cocktail, and the maids who can make the beds the fastest and the best and everything, right? You get the concept? But this is a funeral expo, so they actually had people like models, using models to show their skills on how they dress people after they've died, because it's actually quite an ancient ritual on how they do that. And so yeah, it was like a contest to see who could do it the best. Alrighty, so now we're going to move on to this week in history. All right, for August 28th, back in 1977. We already mentioned him once in this show, but the Brazilian soccer superstar Pelé led the New York Cosmos to victory in the Soccer Bowl, because that's what it was called, and the championship of the North American Soccer League. Because like Pelé was really the first person of international football that became a celebrity in the American pop culture. And so anyway, in 2005, on August 29th, this is when Hurricane Katrina slammed into the Gulf Coast, and we've already had a lot of hurricanes this season. Do you know where the names hurricane, typhoon, and cyclone, how they apply? Hurricanes are in the Atlantic, typhoons are in the Pacific, and cyclones are in the Indian Ocean. Yes, a little bit of trivia for you there. In 1949, on August 29th, the Soviets exploded their first atomic bomb. In 1987, La Bamba, la 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 bamba, da 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 da. You know that song? It was a #1 hit for Los Lobos, and posthumously for Richie Valens, who was the original singer. He died in a plane crash. In fact, that plane crash is what the song American Pie is about, by Don McLean, which is a great song. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Yeah, you know that one. If you don't, go find it, because it's like a classic song. August 30th, in 1918, Vladimir Lenin was shot in an assassination attempt. And it was a lady. You don't get very many female assassins. Assassins. There's a movie coming out called American Assassin, isn't there? Anyway, August 30th. That was August 30th. August 31st. Oh my gosh, I didn't write down the year, but it was like the late 1800s. The prostitute Mary Ann Nichols was the first known victim of the London serial killer, Jack the Ripper. She was found murdered and mutilated in the city's Whitechapel area, Whitechapel district. London saw 4 more victims of the murderer during the next few months, but no suspect was ever found. And this is true. There's a lot of controversy about who was Jack the Ripper. Did he stay in England? Did he go to another country? What? Because it seemed like all of a sudden the murder stopped. But I would encourage you to check out a book written by the author Patricia Cornwell and see who she thinks is Jack the Ripper. She's got a lot of evidence to support her idea. All right, September 1st, 1985, the wreck of the Titanic was finally found. And nobody thought it could ever be done because the ocean's just so deep, but it was done. And then, of course, David Cameron making his film, The Titanic, after that. September 2nd, in 1666, the Great Fire of London began. And so that was a bad thing that happened. 1945, Japan surrendered, ending World War II. In 1969, Ho Chi Minh died in Vietnam. And also in 1969, the very first ever ATM machine opened for business. Where? Which country? Well, it was in the US. In which city? It was in New York. In which bank? It was the Chemical Bank in Rockville Center. So there you go, a little bit of trivia for you. 1969, the first ATM machine opened. Whoops. Need to get a new stand for our Periscope viewers. You know, if you're interested in the behind the scenes, it's every Friday morning, Cambodia time on Periscope. All right, birthdays. Time for the birthday club and celebrity birthdays. First up, August 28th, we had the birthday of Leo Tolstoy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his. You want me to try? Okay, I'll try to pronounce. Nikolaevich. Leo Nikolaevich Tolstoy. Hey, that sounds all right. In 1828, he was born. He's the author of War and Peace and several other classic literature. So maybe you want to get one of his books to read for the book, International Book Reading Day. Also, the birthday of Leanne Rimes in 1982. Okay, August 29th, we had the birthday of Ingrid Bergman. She was born in 1915. You don't remember Ingrid Bergman, the actress? She starred in Casablanca. And Sir Richard Attenborough, born in 1923. Very, very famous for science, but exploring the world, exploring nature, on British TV. Liam Payne, the singer with One Direction, also going off on his own solo career, born in 1993. And in our birthday club, we've got Wendy Lucas and Tommy Schultz. Happy birthday! That's right. Okay, August 30th, Mary Shelley, born in 1797. What was she the author of? Come on, you know. Frankenstein. Yes, indeed. And born in 1972, Cameron Diaz. And also Mark Steinberg in our birthday club. Happy birthday. Okay, August 31st. I included this one just because I want to say the name. Caligula. Yes, Caligula. Later became Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus. In the year, he was born in the year 12. All right, Maria Montessori, born in 1870, and of course she is the founder of the system of educating early childhood education, the Montessori schools. and that method. She's the founder of that, born in 1870. Oh, and a musician that I absolutely love. I did see him in concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Van Morrison, born in 1945. My favorite song, Brown Eyed Girl. I won't bother singing it for you. Richard Gere, born in 1949, a heartthrob. And Chris Tucker, born in 1971, the actor of the Rush Hour movies, also hosted the Oscar ceremony. And in our birthday club, Chambolina, Srenet, and Jasmine May. Happy birthday. Okay, September 1st, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, born in 1946. Gloria Estefan, born in 1957. She launched her singing career with the Miami Sound Machine. Great music. You know, if you love Jennifer Lopez, it's like Gloria Estefan was the Jennifer Lopez before Jennifer Lopez. Okay, and in our birthday club, Robert Hughes, Darasetti Om, and Al Rockoff. Happy birthday. All right, September 2nd, Krista McCullough, born in 1948. She was the teacher that was on the Space Shuttle Challenger when it exploded. Keanu Reeves, born in 1964. Salma Hayek in 1966. And in our birthday club, Daniel Arthur, Patrice Pursley, and Catherine Gamble, and Ken Gaddafi. Happy birthday! Alrighty, September 3rd, our last one, Ferdinand Porsche, born in 1875. Yes, that is the founder of the car Porsche, or Porsche. Chin Long and Vindao Birthday Club, happy birthday. All right, we're almost done with the show. Today is the last day of the month, so it is time for our lucky draw winner with our Instagram contest. You don't know about the Instagram contest? Let me explain about it before we show you the winner. And that is every Monday, I go somewhere in Phnom Penh and I take a picture, a selfie, and I post it on Instagram. Now, if you're following me on Instagram, you're going to get a notification about this picture, right? So be sure to follow me on Instagram. And it's at the Maven 2017, by the way. All the social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, at the Maven 2017. And so you just need to go to the same place and take a picture, a selfie, and hashtag it the Maven 2017. So when you save your picture on Instagram, add hashtag the Maven 2017. That way I can find it, and you're automatically entered into the lucky draw of the month. And each week I show a winner, and then somebody that you get to see yourself on the show, right? So it's great to participate and have fun. So who's our winner today? Sok Paul! Congratulations, you have won 2 tickets to go see The American Assassin. That's right. So enjoy those. I'll get those to you. And congratulations for being the winner, this month's lucky draw winner. Alrighty. So we're at our quote of the day. Time for that. And I'm going to quote the Dalai Lama. Let me take off my glasses just a little bit here. Okay. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. And by others, I think that's people and animals and everybody. So I'll leave you with that. This has been Deconstructed. I am the Maven, and I will see you next week.